Welcome back to Rapids Recaps. Today, we're diving into the relentless action movie of John Wick. Chapter 3 Parabellum. The movie opened with John. After breaking the cardinal rule of the underworld by killing crime lord Santino D'Antonio on the neutral grounds of the New York Continental, John has been declared excommunicado. This status strips him of all access to the criminal underworld's resources and protection. A $14 million bounty is placed on his head, turning him into the most hunted man alive. The film opens with John frantically navigating the streets of New York City, racing against the clock before the bounty becomes active. As John rushes through the city, he heads to the New York Public Library to retrieve crucial items hidden in a book, a crucifix necklace and a marker medallion, symbols of his past connections. These items represent John's last hope of calling in favors to escape his dire situation. But his time is running out, and he is soon ambushed by a towering assassin who tries to collect the bounty before it's officially open. In a brutal and tightly choreographed fight, John uses a book to kill the assassin, showcasing his resourcefulness and lethal combat skills. Wounded and desperate, John knows he must move quickly. John's next stop is a visit to an underground doctor who reluctantly agrees to stitch up his wounds. However, the bounty becomes active midway through the procedure, forcing the doctor to stop, fearing the repercussions of aiding John any further. Despite this, the doctor subtly guides John on how to finish the stitching himself, illustrating the complex web of fear and loyalty that surrounds John's situation. Barely holding himself together, John continues to fight off waves of assassins who try to claim the bounty. This sequence includes a high-intensity brawl in an antique store where John uses various bladed weapons and his environment to fend off his attackers, underlining the series' signature blend of stylish, close-quarters combat. John's journey takes him to the director, Anjelica Huston, a powerful and enigmatic figure who runs a ballet theater that doubles as a training ground for young killers. The director is part of the Ruska Roma, the crime syndicate that John once belonged to, and she serves as a mentor figure from his past. John presents her with the crucifix necklace, a ticket that symbolizes his right to safe passage. Despite her initial reluctance, the director agrees to help John, but not before branding his back with the crucifix to mark that his final favor has been used. She arranges his escape to Casablanca, Morocco, where John hopes to find further help to escape his predicament. Meanwhile, the High Table, a council that governs the world of assassins, dispatches an adjudicator, Asia Kate Dillon, to New York to exact punishment on those who have helped John. The adjudicator is a no-nonsense enforcer of the High Table's rules, and she methodically begins to clean house. Her first stop is at the New York Continental, where she confronts Winston, Ian McShane, the hotel manager who had given John a 1-hour head start instead of executing him immediately. Winston, who has always had a soft spot for John, is given an ultimatum: he has 7 days to resign as manager of the Continental, or he will face severe consequences. The adjudicator then confronts the Bowery King, Lawrence Fishburne, the flamboyant leader of a vast network of homeless assassins. The Bowery King had assisted John by providing him with a weapon to kill Santino, and now he must pay the price for his defiance. The adjudicator orders Zero, a highly skilled assassin, to inflict a brutal punishment, 7 cuts to represent the 7 bullets given to John. The Bowery King's refusal to submit to the High Table's authority sets the stage for a deeper conflict, and his punishment serves as a stark reminder of the High Table's reach and ruthlessness. In Casablanca, John seeks out Sophia, Halle Berry, an old friend and the manager of the Casablanca Continental. Sophia and John share a complicated history, bound by a blood oath that John now calls upon by presenting his marker medallion. Despite her anger and fear for her own safety and that of her daughter, Sophia reluctantly agrees to help John, knowing that refusing would violate the sacred code of the marker. Together, they seek out Barada, Jerome Flynn, a high-ranking member of the assassin world who holds the information John needs. Barada informs John that the only way to find the Elder, a figure who stands above even the High Table, is to wander the desert until he is on the brink of death. The Elder is the only person who can absolve John of his crimes and lift the bounty on his head. However, Barada's arrogance and demands push Sophia over the edge when he insists on taking one of her beloved dogs as a gesture of goodwill. When she refuses, Barada shoots one of the dogs, triggering a furious response from Sophia. She shoots Barada, and John and Sophia must then fight their way out of his heavily guarded Casbah in a thrilling shootout. Sophia's dogs join the fray, showcasing their own deadly skills as they attack Barada's men, highlighting the unique bond between Sophia and her canine companions. After escaping, Sophia fulfills her obligation to John and leaves him in the desert to continue his journey alone. John stumbles through the scorching landscape, driven by sheer willpower and the faint hope of survival. Near death, he is eventually found by the elder's men and brought before the elder, Saeed Tagmawi. John pleads for his life, explaining that he wants to live not just for himself but to remember the love he had for his late wife. The elder offers John a choice: to live and continue serving the high table, or die and find peace. John agrees to serve, but the price is high. He must kill Winston, the man who has been like a father figure to him, and continue to work for the high table indefinitely. To seal his commitment, John cuts off his ring finger and gives up his wedding ring, symbolizing the severing of his ties to his past life and his acceptance of his fate. Returning to New York, John immediately becomes the target of Zero and his students. Zero, a deadly assassin who runs a sushi restaurant as a cover, is both John's enemy and his admirer. He takes a peculiar joy in pursuing John, respecting his skill and reputation while still intent on killing him. Their encounters are laced with a strange camaraderie, adding a layer of complexity to Zero's character. John's return to the city triggers another wave of relentless action, including a spectacular motorcycle chase where John battles Zero's students with swords at high speed on the city's highways. The sequence is a masterclass in choreography and tension, showcasing John's ability to fight under any circumstances. John eventually makes it to the Continental, seeking sanctuary on its neutral grounds. However, the adjudicator arrives and demands that Winston step down as manager, threatening the safety and neutrality of the hotel. Winston refuses, asserting his authority and loyalty to the hotel and its rules. In response, the adjudicator deconsecrates the Continental, allowing business to be conducted on its grounds and setting the stage for a massive confrontation. The high table's heavily armored enforcers storm the hotel, and a fierce battle ensues as John, Winston, and Sharon, Lance Reddick, the Continental's loyal concierge, fight back. Armed with armor-piercing weapons, John and Sharon manage to turn the tide against the high table's forces in a series of brutal and visually stunning action sequences. The battle takes them through various parts of the hotel, including a weapons room and a glass-walled gallery that provides a dazzling backdrop for the intense gunfights. John's resourcefulness and relentless drive are on full display as he switches between firearms and close-quarters combat to take down his enemies. The climax of the battle sees John facing Zero and his students in a duel inside the glass-walled gallery. The fight is intense and beautifully choreographed, with the reflective surfaces adding an extra layer of challenge and spectacle to the combat. Despite Zero's skills and the admiration he harbors for John, he is ultimately no match for the determined and unstoppable John Wick. As Zero lies dying, he expresses his respect for John, adding a touch of bittersweet humanity to the otherwise ruthless killer. With the immediate threat neutralized, Winston and the adjudicator engage in a tense negotiation. Winston portrays the entire conflict as a calculated display of strength, meant to reaffirm his loyalty to the high table. However, the adjudicator remains suspicious of John's continued existence and Winston's true intentions. To prove his loyalty and secure his position, Winston makes a shocking move. He shoots John multiple times, sending him falling off the roof of the Continental. John's fall is brutal, and he is left gravely wounded, seemingly betrayed by the one man he thought he could trust. The Continental is quickly reconsecrated, restoring its status as a neutral ground. The adjudicator, though satisfied with Winston's display, is unsettled by the news that John's body has disappeared. She warns Winston that John's survival poses a continued threat to both of them and the high table's order. Winston, however, remains confident, maintaining his composed and cunning demeanor, even in the face of potential retaliation. Meanwhile, John, battered and barely alive, is retrieved by the Bowery King's men. The Bowery King, scarred and enraged from his own punishment at the hands of the High Table, is now fully intent on waging war against the oppressive council. He offers John a chance to join him in rebellion. The film closes with this powerful alliance between two of the underworld's most dangerous figures. The Bowery King and John Wick, now united by their shared vendetta, set the stage for a broader rebellion against the High Table's tyranny. John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum, ends not with resolution, but with the promise of further chaos, revenge, and unrelenting action. John Wick, the unkillable assassin who defies all odds, is no longer just a man on the run, he is a man on a mission, ready to bring down the High Table, no matter the cost. The final moments of the film leave audiences eagerly anticipating the next chapter, where John's fight for freedom, justice, and survival will continue with even greater stakes. Like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more rapid recaps.